Jordan pulled out not only a great offensive rebounder, but he got a running start there. Nobody blocked him out.
Let's take a look at our FanDuel live point spread for tonight's game. Yeah, the Warriors are favored tonight, despite the Kings being up 2-0 in this series and being the 3 seed right now. That number has stretched a little bit as the Warriors have a 12-point halftime lead. And Curry will sit now at the 6:08 mark. That's been the rhythm for
The
Steve.
fucking last live stream glitched out because someone called me and it lost audio, so I'm just waiting for people to come back. Yo, what's up, dude? Yeah, sorry, I got a call from the fucking sober living manager that I'm going to tomorrow, and so I think it cut everything out. Yeah. I'm just fucking watching the Warriors game. Fucking cooked a ribeye steak earlier. I'm enjoying my alone time and freedom for now. Because I'm going to go back in another sober living tomorrow. Let's wait for the other people to come back. Hopefully they didn't give that. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. I got a call from the sober living manager that I'm going to tomorrow. So it cut the stream out. But it's back. It's good now. I'm watching the Warriors game. The Warriors and Kings. The Warriors are up by 10 or 12. Fucking, they're down 2-0 against the Sacramento Kings. I don't know what the fuck's up with that, man. Defending champions, dynasty team, losing to these fucking uncultured swine, inexperienced punks from Sacramento. No, I don't hate the Kings. I'm just bummed that the Warriors are losing. Thanks, man. Why not wait till 100? Because I'm in a fucking hotel room by myself, and I'm just chilling, enjoying myself, and I've spent 96 days in this intense, crazy fucking program dealing with dumbass shit, and I'm just like fucking enjoying my alone time and kind of having a one-man party here. The Warriors are definitely my favorite team. I'm from the Bay Area, near the Oakland area. I remember when I was like 12 years old, they had a special where it was like get into the preseason game for free if you were shorter than Muggsy Bogues, who was 5'3", and so I was young enough and short enough to get in. And they had like 2 of the players, Donyell Marshall and Chris Mills, standing at the door shaking our hands. That's how fucking terrible the Warriors used to be, that they had to have the players stand at the door to greet you and let you in free.
Able to score it. Chance at a 3-point play. Kings hanging in there.
Yeah, I watch UFC. I've been watching pay-per-views and some fight nights pretty consistently for the last year. Was the last one John Jones, or was it... No, there was something else that we just watched recently. I'm trying to remember. Oh, the Adesanya rematch. That's right. That was pretty cool.
And now Terrence Davis comes in with a foul on.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm doing great. And I mean, like Graceland, they're like, oh, if you leave, you're gonna fuck your life up. You're gonna relapse and stuff. I was just like so over it. I've tried for so long with that place. I'm sick of dealing with fucking like no offense to anybody, but like young, like early 20s, like girl drama. Like, I'll be damned if I'm gonna have some little girls like yelling at me, telling me what to do. Like, fuck, dude. It was some crazy like manipulation and just drama there 24/7. It was not it was fun sometimes, but it was not that part. Like there was just it was a beautiful place. I think they I don't know. I don't want to say they tried their best because they could definitely do way better. But I'm sure everywhere could be way better. What is this? This message was held for review. Is Grace I really as fucked up and backwards as people say? I was worried when I saw you show up there. Seems, yeah, it's not necessarily exploitative. Like, we sign a contract when we go in that we agree to be on camera, and you don't have to sign it. But I signed it, and like, I don't mind it. It's just there's this guy Johnny there that they definitely like. I don't want to say exploit, but he's like fucking stupid, and he's very unaware of like real life shit. You know, he's fucking Tweaker from Skid Row. And so like they kind of like make fun of him, and he's like the Graceland clown, and like he thinks people are laughing with him, and thinks he's like TikTok famous, but really it's like he's kind of a fucking joke, and he's really crazy. Like last week he went off on me on some crazy shit, cause like to be honest I have a girl in Sweden. She actually asked me, she talked to me today and was like, oh, so can we be like, can you be my boyfriend now? I was like, yeah, sure, I'll be your boyfriend. But I plan on going to go visit her. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Anyway, we had to be honest and do this thing called a cop list where we admit to like things we've, hidden or whatever. So it's like, yeah, like there's a girl in Sweden I talk to all the time, and we're not supposed to have relationships. So I was like, no, we're not in a relationship. Like, I've never even met her in person. Like, I'm gonna go visit her eventually, but I just want to be honest. And this fucker Johnny goes off on some crazy shit, and he's like, oh, Matthew's fucking flirting with girls at AA meetings, and this one girl he's talking to, she has a kid, and he's leading her on, and fucking went off on some wild shit. And I was just like sitting there like, bro, it's just some girl like that we've messaged each other a couple times, and she lives where I was from, and like said that if you want to go to a meeting sometime, hit me up. That was it. There was like literally maybe a couple messages during the AA meeting, honestly making fun of Johnny and the dumbass shit he says, but like we were doing it privately. Yeah, so he went off, and I was like, bro, like you're fucking crazy, like you're disgusting. I guess you're jealous or something. And he's like, I'm not jealous. I crush ass. And I was like, if you say you crush ass, more than likely you do not crush ass, Johnny. In fact, I live with you. You're on a shower program. Sorry, this is turning into a shit talking session. But a shower program means he has to tell somebody every day after he takes a shower. Otherwise, he will go for days wearing the same clothes and not showering. So, fuck Johnny Crump. And then I was trying to talk to my friend when I was packing and leaving, and he was like standing outside the door listening to everything I was saying and started trying to yell so the person could hear him. And the staff was like, Johnny, get the fuck out of here. What's wrong with you? Like, the dude's seriously nuts. I'm so happy to be away from certain people there. It just got very counterproductive. And luckily, nothing was going to ruin my sobriety. I had decided I want to stay sober, and I'm not going to let other people get to me so much to where I relapse. But I definitely might have gotten to the point where I, like, fought somebody or something, because there were just other people that whenever you have an issue there, they're like, you need to take a look at yourself. And it's like, okay, well, other people are yelling at me, blasting music while I'm trying to talk on the phone. There's a Mexican guy that said, nigga, I'll fuck you up. And I said, nigga, I said, you're Mexican. What the fuck is wrong with you? I generally don't get along with, like, ex-tweakers. I mean, I don't know. They're a different breed. Did I ever get any psychedelics? Yeah, no. When I was like early 20s, I started doing mushrooms and acid. I liked acid a lot more. Acid was very, like, I felt like myself. But mushrooms were very unpredictable. I had a bad trip one time on mushrooms. If anybody knows what Golden Gate Park in San Francisco is, when I was in my early 20s, we'd go there to buy weed, because you couldn't buy weed at stores back then. And one time we met a little girl, she had to be like 12 years old, with a giant bag of tiny mushrooms for $60. And so we bought them, And me and my friend were like, well, these mushrooms are tiny, so we like have to eat a lot. That was a terrible idea. I fucking back they used to have iPod Shuffle, which didn't have a screen. It just had a green light or a red light if it died. And so I was listening to the Mars Volta, waiting for the train. And I was like, man, this like interlude, this like spacey, whoosh, like kind of interlude's going on for a long time. And I checked and the iPod was dead. And I was like, how long had I been listening to that thinking I was listening to the Mars Volta? And really it was just all in my head. And then we got on the train and I thought everybody was like, they're on mushrooms. These guys are on mushrooms. Do you see them? They're on mushrooms. I was like, oh fuck. I was just like hanging my head trying to cover my face. And so then we get to the Oakland stop, and an A's game, baseball game, got out, and the train was super crowded. And I was like, oh fuck, everybody knows we're fucked up. And then we got to my house, and I walk in, and I go to my parents, and I'm like, we went to a party, and I think they spiked the punch, I gotta go. And my parents are like, what? And I was like, I'll tell you tomorrow. And then we were just in my room, and I was like, maybe we could just sleep this off. And so we both like went to sleep, tried to go to sleep, which didn't work. And I thought my insides were trying to crawl out my mouth. It was so bad. Hell yeah, I listened out at the drive-in. I actually started listening to Mars Volta first, though, because that's my favorite band. And then I was like, oh yeah, these guys were at the drive-in. I know One Arm Scissor. And then so I started listening to more of their stuff. At the Drive-In's cool, but Mars Volta is 100% my shit. I don't know if anybody's heard their new album, but at first I was like, these are like 3-minute like rock pop songs, but they're actually really good. Now that I'm sober, I can give stuff a chance and really listen to it. You know, I used to think drugs opened my mind up, but I think it got to the point where it's counterproductive and it just made me more closed-minded. Yeah, their first album. The what? The Mars Volta or at the Drive-In?
Just clip the front of the rim. Fox on Curry. Curry clears it out. Here comes Green. And now Sabonis on the switch. Jermichael Green for three. DiVincenzo, he stepped on the baseline.
Who? Oh, at the Drive-In? I mean, I think they only have like 2 albums, or maybe they made a newer one, but I mean, I'm not that familiar with the Mars Volta. At the Drive-In, I just had like a bunch of their songs probably on some streaming service, or not streaming services before that. I'm trying to think. It was like on iTunes or something, but I'm trying to think what my favorite song is by theirs. It was like the one that starts off with the really tribal drums. What was the story with the swatting thing? Oh my god. So we're all just chilling one night, like watching TV. It was like a Saturday night. Like we're just watching a movie at like midnight. And all of a sudden, Johnny, the fucking wacko, walks in and he's like, Danielle's one of the owners, quote unquote. Maybe I'll talk about that more later. But, Danielle said the cops are here. And we're looking outside, we're like, there's no fucking cops here, Johnny. What the fuck are you talking about? And he's like looking at the security camera, like all paranoid. And we could see like cop cars down the street. So we were like, oh, we're fine. And Johnny goes out and he's just like fucking running around the whole driveway in the front of the house. Like, looking all over, paranoid. It's like, what the fuck what are you so paranoid about, bro? Like, we're all sober here. There's nothing to hide. We're good. And he's just a fucking tweaker. And so, he's 10 months sober, apparently. He relapsed in the house already. He's been there like 2 years. Ugh. Anyway, and so him and Jesse goes to get him, and then the cops drive up. And because they were out there, the cops were like, put your fucking hands up, get on the ground, and like, put them in the back of the cop car. And then they all had us come out one by one and patted us down. And then eventually they're like, all right, you guys seem good. We got a call that somebody said they were staff and that there was a resident waving a gun around in front of the house. And so when we saw you two out there, we thought you were the guys with like guns or whatever. And so, I mean, it freaked me out at first. I just because my heart was racing, but then it was like kind of funny because we knew what was happening. And then somebody actually, after I posted the video, somebody commented and said that this guy online was bragging about being the one doing it. And he's just like some little, fucking incel or whatever. And so I passed that on to the staff if they wanted to give it to the cops or whatever. But, I doubt anything will happen. There's the way to get around swatting. And I mean, it's very simple. Like, I haven't thought of this in my head, but when it happened, I thought of it. You would just have to go to like a Walmart. You'd have to wear a hat and a face mask. You'd have to buy a burner phone cash. And then you would just go to like some random location and call the SWAT in, wait till it's confirmed, ditch the phone somewhere, and then go home. And so, like, yeah, I mean, is it worth it? Is it worth the whatever cost and time to do that? Probably not. I think somebody would be dumb enough to do it from their own phone, probably on their home Wi-Fi, which is easily traceable. So if somebody got in trouble, that's great. But I wasn't like, there were some people that were like more the young, like this one young guy that turns every fucking thing into an ordeal. Like every little thing is the end of the world to him. And he was like, he's from Memphis. He's like, oh man, that was crazy, bro. Oh my God, dude. Like, that scarred me, bro. I got warrants in Memphis, dude. Like, they could have been coming for me. And I was like, shut the fuck up. Like, I got so sick of that place. Like, it's just, what's up? Who is this, Jack Harlow? What are you gonna get carried through the Kentucky Derby fucking dirt and mud on the ground so you don't want your shoes to get fucked up by your security team? I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about, but Jack Harlow did that and it was annoying. But yeah, like Graceland, it's a beautiful place, and I think it's like they care to an extent, but none of the staff has any time, like rarely ever, to deal with things. They just make it, like his place is basically run by the residents, which, and it's kind of, it was interesting. I bought into it for a while, but then it was like, wait, but if the residents are like manipulative drug addicts, how's this gonna work, So it got to the point where like, I didn't even want to talk about things anymore, because every time I did, I would get teamed up on by like these two young girls and this gay guy that like was super protective over the girls, and he admitted it to me. He's like, yeah, like I grew up with all women, so I get protective over girls. And it's like, all right, well, if you're gonna fucking be fair in this house, can you like stop? Like, I try to be equal with everybody. Like I get it, not everybody's gonna be my friend, and it's insane of me to think I would want people to be my friend that I don't even really like. And so, I learned a lot of things. Content house. No, it's definitely a sober living. Patrick is just very content oriented, and then he has his production company. So, I mean, yeah. I honestly don't even think he really owns that place. I think it's his stepmom, from what I had overheard. His stepmom owns a lot of properties. I think she just like gave it to him, or maybe he's making payments. I don't know. I just know that like, yeah, he like him and the other owner just spend frivolously, and one lives with their parents, and the other one, like I don't think he has a job. Patrick. What part about recovery is living with special needs people? I don't think anybody was getting high. If anybody got high, then they had consequences. And yeah, they let people back that relapsed. That's the one thing I didn't understand, is how they were allowed to operate as a sober living and let people detox there. Like, because I went in there and detoxed, and I had other sober livings that were like, it's illegal to let you in if you're still fucked up, like you can't detox here. So I'm not sure, dude. I'm like, I'm not here on a smear Graceland campaign, but I'm not gonna fucking lie and sugarcoat things. So I'll admit I don't think I mean I can find flaws with a lot of programs, but I will say that Graceland helped me appreciate my freedoms and all the other programs I've been to. I've been an ungrateful, like, little brat that wasn't humble. I feel good now. I want to be sober. I've surrendered. I have a sponsor. I'm working the steps, and I don't wish anything bad to anybody. I don't want, Graceland, shut them down. Like, do what they fucking do. If it helps people, then good. But there's definitely some fucking power tripping ass residents there that I'm like, man, I give them a dick, I'm cynical. There's like some of these fucking little kids, and I'm like, where did you get all this confidence from? Like, I'm sorry, but you're fat, lazy, ugly, manipulative, stupid, and you seem more confident than I do. It's blown my mind. That's terrible, but whatever. I don't ever want to just be like fucking so confident that I'm like trying to tell other people what to do, and I don't know. It's just weird there.
Late nights and regulars.
I mean, I've done rehab here in Colorado, and it's great for the most part. It's just the first place I went to was bad. It was, bed bugs and people using PCP, meth, and fentanyl in the house. And so that was no good. Other places, they all have their issues, but like I said, after doing Graceland, I've come to appreciate some of the past places that I didn't appreciate, because I was like, oh, there's no structure, like, it's just a place to live, and there's no accountability. But now that I've had fucking sensory overload with accountability and structure, I'm like, okay, I'm good. Like, I definitely want to stay sober. I've definitely learned a lot, and I'm just happy that this went down at 96 days or 95 days sober yesterday, instead of leaving after a couple weeks. Getting pissed off and being like, fuck you guys, I'm leaving. It just worked out the right way. Everything happens for a reason. I'm exactly where I need to be at the right time, and so it's all good. Mark from Soft White Underbelly is traveling until May 3rd. But after he gets back, we're going to do another interview. And so I'll try to articulate things better and tell more of the big picture story. I just want to focus more on talking about being sober and how I've learned things, as opposed to talking shit about people and places or whatever.
The Kings here in the fourth quarter, just 2 points, 1 of 8 shooting. He's missed all 3 of his threes.
Anyway, I'm going to end this live now, because I'm going to focus on the rest of the game. And my hot Swedish girlfriend is texting me. She's awake. So, yeah. Hope everybody has a great night. Thanks for watching this. But yeah. Oh wait, what's this? There's a message held for review. It's an adult daycare.
In the third quarter, and now 2 more right here. They can't send them to the free throw line. You don't want teams.
Yeah, that's interesting. The Louisville place. I mean, I've never been to a place that gives you a certain amount of smoke breaks or food breaks. And we had one movie night at Graceland, but fucking people wouldn't even pay attention. They'd just be on their phone or sleeping. So it's pointless. And yeah, groups all day. I'm glad I did it for 3 months, but I'm ready to get back in the real world and work and do real life. Alright, we'll see. I'll see. I rarely do these lives, but yeah. Alright, have a good night, everybody.